All right, Bob Prosen, an MBA and executive hiring expert, joining us from Dallas right now to tell us about some unique tips, Bob. I disappeared again, you couldn't see that. To tell us about some unique tips about job hunting. And you say, can you hear me, sir? You got me, Bob? Bob?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
We're having some problems just because of the weather with some of our IFB situations today. So just checking. Okay, you say when looking for a job, stop looking online. Can you explain that?
When are we going to go live on this? Is it ready?
We're ready to go. If you hear me, sir, we're live.
Okay. Oh, okay. When do you ask me that? When you stop looking online means the more you look online, the more you're competing with everyone else. I think what you have to do is figure out what are your skills and turn those skills into problem-solving solutions for employers. And therefore, you can specifically go after certain jobs with specific skills and not compete with the masses. Today, if you don't differentiate yourself, all you are is a resume. And you get in a stack of resumes that most likely is being screened by some sort of automated process, and you never even get to the hiring manager.
I would imagine those are tips most useful for someone a little bit higher up in the ranks, an executive like yourself, correct? Because usually if you've thought through something that much, you're a little bit more accustomed to what you're doing and the field.
Well, it may appear to be that way, but oddly enough, I'm working with 3 grads from Ohio State. They're in their senior year. And we're helping them transition, figure out what career they want, and then how to use a program to go step by step, thinking like the hiring manager. And since I came out of corporate America and have hired hundreds of people, I'm disclosing how we think as a hiring manager, and I'm feeding them that information so they can get a job and go against these odds of 50% of the college grads not having a position.
I always like to tell the story of my one friend, a roommate from college. She worked briefly in a human resources department at a major company, and since that experience, any single job that she has applied for, she's gotten. We're also jealous of her. Anyway, another tip that you have here is don't apply to too many companies. So that obviously means just to be a little bit more selective, do your research. What exactly do you mean by that?
Once you determine how you can solve a company's problems, and you then figure out how to research what the company's problems really are.
Okay.
You've got that figured out. Why apply to everyone? Just apply to the companies that have those particular sets of challenges and problems. Narrow your search. This is not a game of numbers where we send our resume out to everyone. Focus on the people that really need your help, and then build a marketing campaign that helps them solve these problems without even asking for the job. That's the key.
But is there a recommended or a reasonable number that you should apply to when you're trying to do all these different things that you suggest?
Well, you should apply to probably a dozen, but they're well thought out because you have to keep these campaigns going. This isn't a one-time just shoot a resume or a cover letter. We're talking about a marketing plan that has 12 steps in it that allows you to stay in contact with the hiring managers over a period of time so that you develop a relationship. All of that needs to culminate in being asked to have an interview. And that doesn't happen quickly, so it takes time and effort. So the question is, how many of those can a single person manage at one time? Right. I'd say probably a dozen.
Okay, fair enough. And I love point number 4 because it says, don't send your resume, period, seriously. Explain that one.
Don't send it to HR? Or don't send a resume, period. I think both of them are important. So let's combine both of them. When you have a resume, it looks just like everybody else's. It's a flat document. Instead, I suggest something that looks like this. Here you have the problem you're solving targeted to that employer, how you've solved those problems before. This is called a one sheet. And notice how it stands out. It's not just like a regular resume. Here we have references and testimonials of where we have worked before or the things that we've accomplished, jobs that we've held. And here's all the contact information. You put this in a stack of resumes, this will stand out. I call it a one sheet. It's on nice glossy paper. And let's face it, you have to rise above everyone else these days. In fact, I even like the idea of putting together a video that directly addresses a customer's, probably your employer's problems. And that way you're now 3-dimensional.
You just teed me up very nicely for my next segment. Thank you so much, Bob, for coming on. We're going to go to a break right